Hello and welcome. This is Series 2 and Module 2, Negotiating What You Really Want. Most people really have a hard time trying to figure out what is it they really want. And number two, they really lack a lot of the confidence in making sure that you are getting exactly what you want out of your life and your career. And so we're going to talk about why this is so important and give you some steps and some tips on how to negotiate what you really want. So let's jump in here to the slide deck here. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to get out of this series. Well, we want you to know that, negotiation is around convincing. It's about finding the win-win. It's finding an agreement for both parties. It also is the ability to resolve conflict. That's a negotiation as well. And of course, selling is always a negotiation. So we want to make sure that you're able to do all of these. So no is not the ending in the negotiation. So making sure that no doesn't mean no and that you're just going to walk away. No is an opportunity to think through again, what are some things that are both valued to both sides, making sure that you understand what is their agreement or what they want to agree to. What is your agreement? What do you need to agree to? But what is the bottom line? What's the bottom line that both parties can agree to walk away happy, both sides? Sometimes people think that a negotiation means that you have to win. It really is around the win-win for both parties, making sure that both parties feel like they have been acknowledged, that they've been heard, and that they all are in agreement with how the next steps will look. So negotiation is really a place where if you get a no, it doesn't mean that you're done. It just means, okay, we need to reset the starting line, right? What do we really know and what do we need to know and what do we not know? So negotiate or mediate, to me, there's really kind of both of the same. When you're negotiating, you're there to help kind of change attitudes, to kind of flip things around and making sure that you truly understand the other side's opinion. How do they see things? You want them to say and acknowledge of how you see things. What is the ultimate win for the other party? What is the ultimate win for you? How do you enhance the bottom line? Everybody's got a bottom line. It's what we call a BATNA. Bottom line, associated, negotiated agreement, so that everybody has what they feel is something that they can walk away with that is gainfully respectful and it gains a repeat business. But more importantly, it resolves any sort of situations where it may affect the relationship. Your relationship matters a lot. Negotiation is about making sure that you save the relationship, making sure that you truly understand that you're there to find the win-win. So just know, negotiation or mediation, however that may be, I see them both in the same, right? So they both have a lot of similarities and they're basically, you're going to use the same process. So mediation and a de-escalation. Let's say you have a situation where you have a conflict, right? With somebody, something, over someone, some situation, some project, some next steps, whatever that may be, and things are pretty hot. So you're stepping in and you want to just de-escalate some of the energy behind what's happening. And I will tell you, fear, and we just covered it, fear is one of the main reasons why people have an escalation, is because either they're not having their needs met or they feel that they're going to lose something in this process. Remember, it's about a win-win and you have to de-escalate it. So the first thing you want to do is step in, just like this lady's doing, shake those hands nice and firm and let them know, hey, it's nice to meet you. I understand that, we both have needs and I want to make sure that we both are sharing what those needs are so we can figure out how we can meet both sides. And if you're open and willing to that. So opening is really important, and come in with a nice smile on your face. When people come in and they're like, I'm going to negotiate, they're not really receptive to you. So come in, be yourself, be relaxed, take the energy out of your shoulders, let your shoulders down, take a big breath, You have to de-escalate yourself and your own thought process and your own narrative, and make sure that you come into this and have the attitude that you know you really like this person. There are times when we have to negotiate with people that we have chosen to not like. That doesn't mean that you are not going to be doing business with them. You will be doing business with them. So come in with kindness, come in with good intent or sincere, honest intent for the integrity of the other person, withhold judgment, and shut your narrative down. Because if you don't do that, you will not be a good mediator, and you will also be not a very good negotiator. So make sure and de-escalate yourself first. Let's talk about the process. You know, the mediation process, you want to explain what this is. Okay, here's the ground rules. We want to make sure that we want to get opening statements from one party. You know, tell us what your side is. Let us make sure that we give you the full honor of that time, and make sure that they're complete in what they are trying to say to you. Ask them after they're done stating their side, is this all? Is there anything else we need to consider? And then you can say, now I'd like to present our side of this opinion, and we'd like to, you know, meet each other in the middle. We want to be able to supply what it is we need. What is the barrier or the bottleneck that's getting in the way? We want to make sure that we're all on the same road. We also want to agree that this is very confidential. We don't want people taking our mediation and then walking outside of the room and having a discussion with somebody else. You want to have agreement. This is confidential. Take notes. So when you take notes, you're going to be taking notes, and you can say, can I give a pause and make sure that I got this right? This is what I've heard. Did I get it right? If you don't get your facts right, it comes back on you as being a poor listener. Being a good active listener is really important to good mediation. So make sure you take a pause. Take notes on what it is for their side. Even take notes for yourself. If you don't have them, make sure you have those as well. Make sure that we're satisfied on how we want to meet. You know, what are things that we can agree upon? So we agree that this is correct. You want this, we want this. And it seems like we both want the same thing. Is that correct? So ask them, we agree on certain things. Did I get it right? Right? So each party agrees this is a voluntary, active participation. We don't want people feeling like they're forced into negotiation. You really want to create a safe space to be able to talk about the things that are important to both parties. So just know that's what you do. When you are in negotiation, you are there to make sure that fairness across the process is established. People are clear about the process that you establish, and making sure that you have honest integrity involved in this process and negotiation, because any hint of lack of clarity, hint of lack of trust, hint of that this is all about you, you're done. Negotiation is over. It's about two parties winning and being on the same road, as you see here in this actual slide. So the mediator's role, your role, is to find a process, but you really need to follow the process. Don't focus on kind of the substance. You want to capture the substance, but what you're doing is you're holding a space for people to be able to enlighten themselves, to discover what other people may think and feel, find new solutions. This is not about who's right, who's wrong. That's not what the goal is. The goal is to find an outcome where everybody feels that they are honored in this process. So it really is a staircase of mediation, right? You can do small general agreements. You can have prompting new ideas, but the mediator role is really around active listening, restating. I heard you say, did I get it right? I heard you say this, did I get that right? Let each party share what they want. So let me hear what I hear you say. This is what you want. That would be your ultimate best outcome. Come back over here. Now let us know, what is your ultimate best outcome? These are small steps. We want to reframe, restate, reframe, affirm, restate. And you just want to keep doing this process so that you are making sure that you are on the right road. So as a mediator, You know, having a sense of neutrality is really important. Eye contact, note taking, restating what you hear. If you are mediating between two parties, it's important that you don't solve the problem for them. You're there to make sure that this process is upheld and continued so that you can find a common goal. Reframe the issues as it gets unpacked and restating agreements and state where you disagree. Well, I understand that you agreed to this and you agreed to this. Are we all in agreement? And then coming back through and stating, and this is where we disagree. Did I get that right? And this is where you disagree. Did I get that right? So let's talk about what we disagree. So making sure here's the agreements and here's the disagreements, making sure they're very, very clear. So what's really important is the SWARM acronym. We want you to stay on mission. We want you to have that willingness to carry reciprocity. You're not choosing a side. Your words will decide which side is being more favored. Be careful when you use words that can indicate that you are favoring one side or the other. You don't want that. You want to acknowledge the expertise at the table. So thank you, Bob. I know that you're an expert in financing and solving problems. And thank you, Betty. I know that you are more aligned to the culture of the company, and we want to be able to make sure that we're all finding a win-win in this conversation. Are we all in agreement? So just know, refrain from blame, refrain from ego, and make it happen based on trust. You were there to hold the honor of keeping trust at the core of every negotiation and of every mediation. Make sure that you are a trusted party. So it really is, how do we work together? You know, all of these things that you see on this slide are so important to, you know, how people work together. They swarm together. You know, there is a biological need for people to work together to have a better outcome. So we are all destined to create something great. And guess what? We can't do it alone. And we've got parties out here that may not agree, but yet, you know what? They really do need each other to create a greater good. So that's what we're here for, is to create something more powerful, better, more sustainable, more profitable, a better feeling, more trust, whatever that may be. It is the sustainability of every company. So SWARM leadership, no agency is in charge here. They run practice scenarios. We identify the problem, what's in the way of success. We're going to interview some key leaders. That's something that you may want to do, is reach across the table and talk to other people and what are their ideas, and here's the situation and how do you see that being solved. And coming over here and talking to some of those people and finding out people other than the people that are at the table about what their thoughts are on the particular situation. You know, you want to affirm the alignment. You want to make sure everybody is on a common mission for solution. Define what that communication process is going to be. There's no interrupting of people. We're going to hold positive intent for each other. We're also going to hold a willingness to listen and try things on. We're not just going to sit here and solve and judge. So if we solve and judge, we're not winning anything. Everybody is losing. So solving and judging will not solve any problem in the world. So being an active listener, holding positive intent, and making sure that your decisions and the conversations are held with confidentiality. You're creating a decision process, a critical thinking process about what we know, what we need, what we want, and also what we don't have, and what can we have together. Set a safe space. Set a standard of behavior. Remember, they're following you. Make sure that you have a standard of behavior for everyone. So the connection is the DNA, right? The unity of mission, the generosity of spirit, reciprocity, meritocracy. Everyone stays in their lane, no ego, no blame, no shame. It's a foundation of trust, and everyone has a role. This should be the DNA of every company. And the people that work inside of the company, if they have this type of DNA and deep connections, the consumer on the other side of your company gets the same feeling and the same connection. There is a role. So possibilities and predicting and fast forwarding in the future is really important that you sit down and say, here's what we've all come to agreement. How are we going to solve this? So understanding what the situation are, what is the assumptions that both parties have, what do we know, what do we not know, processes for supporting those assumptions, who's involved, how do we interact, what's our biggest fears, right? Having a safe space where each party can say, you know, what is the biggest fear you have out of this situation? What are you mostly afraid of? And what is the best outcome that you can think of right now? So all of these questions are things that you should be asking yourself of each party so that you clearly understand what's going on with this other party, what's going on with this party over here. If you are the person that you're trying to negotiate something for yourself, you have to be clear on all of these questions for yourself, and you have to be super clear on the other parties answers to these questions, what you think, how they're going to answer these questions. If you don't know, then do more research. Research is imperative to good negotiation and mediation. So make sure that you are well prepared before you step up to the table. So designing from trust, there's a couple YouTube here that we've got from Jerry Michalski here, and we also got managing some turnarounds that you may want to just click on those and take a look at those as well. And I wanted to just say thank you from myself, Dina Redinger, and my partner, Sharon Weinstein. Our hope and our gift to you is to hopefully take you on a journey for new thinking, new transformational thinking, making sure that we're creating strong, confident leaders. We also just released our book, Think Differently, 18 Strategies to Fix Broken Thinking. And if you've not got your copy yet, this would be a very good copy for you to have on hand so that you can start to chart your journey, making sure that you answer the questions in the book, which are very challenging. That's going to help you with your strategy. So wishing you well. This is the end of modules 2 of series 2. And the next one is number 3. So that's going to be about leveraging your core values. So we'll see you soon.